Cheaper by the Dozen is the newest Disney Plus original movie and the newest Cheaper by the Dozen movie. I decided to give it a watch. Let's get into my thoughts. Real quick before we get into it, I do want to say hit the subscribe button down below. It does my channel a lot of good. If you've seen the movie, comment down below. What are your thoughts on it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Or have you not seen it? Are you planning to watch it? And all that stuff. And what is your relationship with the previous Cheaper by the Dozen films? Now, I will be ranking the Cheaper by the Dozen movies tomorrow. But I do want to say there are technically 4 Cheaper by the Dozens. One of them I couldn't find on any streaming service. It's from 1950. I'm not going to be including that. So only the 2 Steve Martin ones and then this brand new one will be included on the ranking. And of course, let me share my thoughts first of all before I get into the new Cheaper by the Dozen on the original remake of Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve Martin. The first movie, at least, is one of my favorite family comedies because it is technically a comedy, but there's not actually that much comedy in there. I've seen the movie at least like 5 times. I really do love Steve Martin's Cheaper by the Dozen. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people don't love it. I enjoy it. And that said, Cheaper by the Dozen 2, I don't want to get too much into it. Didn't care for Cheaper by the Dozen 2 all that much. Let's get into my thoughts, though, on Cheaper by the Dozen 2022. This movie is, well, first of all, going into this, being a fan of the Cheaper by the Dozen movies, but after watching Home Sweet Home Alone, my expectations were really low. Because Disney, especially on Disney Plus lately, have been making a lot of like remakes. First of all, we had Home Sweet Home Alone, which was not good. We had the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. That was decent. But my expectations were set low for Cheaper by the Dozen. But this movie, man, it was actually pretty good. It's a fun family comedy. This has more comedy than the Steve Martin version. Zach Braff does a really great job in here. The whole cast does a phenomenal job, actually. I want to get into that later, but I do want to say this movie does have me more excited for the movies like Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and the other kind of reboots coming to Disney Plus. I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I would. Like I said, didn't want to watch it, but after I sat down and watched it, I really liked it. And the thing about this movie is it does take a spin from it. It's a very different take on the Cheaper by the Dozen kind of story from like the other movies and stuff. It really does take its own spin. That's pretty cool because you don't have 12 kids. You actually have 10 kids, and the dozen comes from plus the 2 parents. And the cool thing about here is it is a blended family. Zach Braff's character had a couple kids, and he adopted a son with his ex-wife, and then they divorced, and then he married his new wife who already had kids as well, and then they had kids together. So it's a huge family. And then their cousin, Zach Braff's character's mom or sister is in rehab, so then her son lives with them, so that's where the 10 kids comes in, is that the cousin is living there too, and that was actually really cool to see. It was cool to see kind of a mix, it was not a mix, it was a blended family. It was cool to see that, and it was really fun actually, because they brought so many different like personalities in here. Like the original Cheaper by the Dozen, every character felt kind of similar. Like there's a lot of characters that felt similar. This movie, every character kind of feels like their own. I feel like more of the kids get time to shine, and they get a little more time like of their own. Of course, there's a couple kids that really do get more screen time than others, but overall, I felt like we did get to know a lot of the characters. Some of the younger kids we didn't get to know that much, but we did get to learn some stuff about them, and they all kind of their own personality, and that was really cool to see, and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun family comedy. I definitely recommend it. To me, it's one of the better movies I've seen this year. Again, I haven't seen that many movies this year yet, but I have to give Cheaper by the Dozen a 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. Tell me down below, are you planning on watching this? If so, are you excited to watch it? Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you can check out some more videos right now.